Good afternoon. I'm Jerry Brewer. I'm the interim chief. It's common spelling Jerry, last name Brewer. With me today is DPS Regional Director Joe Longway and Chief Deputy Mike Reed. I wanted today to talk to you about a recent murder case that we believe we've solved, and I'm just going to tell you some more details about it, more than probably what we've already been put out. So the purpose of this press conference is to provide an update on a cold case homicide that has now resulted in a grand jury indictment and a murder warrant being issued for the arrest of Samuel Little. Set the background, on August 8, 1993, the body of Bobby Fields, 37 years old, was located in an open field just off the 1200 block of Keel Avenue here in Lubbock, and the apparent victim of an apparent homicide. Early in the investigation, investigators learned that she had last been seen near the Rose Hotel, located in the 700 block of 13th Street, on August 7th at approximately 1 a.m. Eventually, all investigative leads at the time were exhausted, with no arrest or known suspect developed, and the case went cold. As with all our cold homicide cases, several LPD investigators revisited this case over the next 25 years, but were unable to develop any positive leads to actively investigate. On November 15th of 2018, this case was assigned to the newly created Lubbock Metropolitan Special Crimes Unit. This unit is responsible for investigating all the major crimes in Lubbock County, specifically homicides, cold cases, missing and endangered persons, child deaths, officer shootings, and cases of special circumstances. The unit is made up of excellent investigators from both the Lubbock Police Department and the Lubbock Sheriff's Office. On November 16, 2018, Metro Crimes investigators spoke with FBI Violent Crimes Apprehension Program crime analyst Christina Palazzula. They were provided the timeline of Mr. Little's historical criminal activities. Samuel Little, who is currently incarcerated in California and believed to be among the most prolific serial killers in U.S. history, provided information in admitting to committing a murder somewhere in the area of Wichita Falls. Investigators checked into the possibility that Mr. Little could have been involved in the murder of Bobby Fields. A review of known 1993 jail records indicated that Mr. Little was incarcerated in Travis County, Texas on July 30th, 1993. On March 11th, 2019, VICAP sent an alert seeking case-matching information regarding a murder that Mr. Little admitted to, and possibly in the area of Wichita Falls. Mr. Little provided a composite drawing of the victim. It also included information that he had placed the body of an unidentified female in a field along a road where she could easily be found. This murder was believed to have occurred in 1976 or 1977 and 30 to 50 miles south of Wichita Falls. Much of the information provided by VICAP and Ranger James Holland, such as the victim's description, location in the field, and placement of the body, and similar aspects of this investigation. On April 2nd, 2019, investigators sent an email to VICAP with some of the details regarding the murder of Bobby Fields. Investigators stressed that the proximity of Mr. Little's arrest in Travis County to Lubbock. They wanted to obtain more details to determine the possibility of Mr. Little being involved in Bobby Fields' murder. By this time, an extensive search had been conducted by several law enforcement agencies trying to locate the murder Mr. Little confessed to in the area of Wichita Falls. Still, there were no matches. On July 2nd, 2019, investigators spoke with VICAP and, after comparing information, agreed that the victim's physical description and crime scene matched the details Mr. Little had described and warranted further investigation in the Lubbock area. During this further investigation, Metropolitan Special Crimes investigators contacted Travis County to confirm the dates of Mr. Little's 1993 incarceration. They then learned that Mr. Little was actually arrested on July 20th, 1993, and not July 30th as originally thought, and was released on August 3rd, 6 days before Bobby Fields was found. Given the new information regarding his incarceration dates in 1993, investigators now realize Mr. Little could not have been incarcerated at the time of this murder, increasing the likelihood that Mr. Little was actually a suspect in the murder of Bobby Fields. On August 18, 2019, while re-evaluating evidence, investigators found a 1993 attempt to locate flyer made by the LPD Crime Analysis Unit on this case, where a 1978 yellow Cadillac Eldorado was believed to be the vehicle that Bobby Fields was last seen getting into in the area of the Rose Hotel located at 713th Street. On August 19, 2019, Metropolitan Special Crimes investigators contacted VICAP again to get a list of vehicles Mr. Little was known to drive. They learned he drove and owned a 1978 yellow Cadillac Eldorado, which appeared to be very similar to the vehicle in the flyer and further indication of him being a suspect in the murder. On August 20th, 2019, the Metro investigators arranged an interview with Mr. Little with the help of Texas Ranger James Holland at the California Department of Corrections in Los Angeles County, California. At that time, Mr. Little was serving 3 life sentences for another murder. During this interview, Mr. Little provided corroborating and very specific details to the murder of Bobby Fields. On August 27, 2019, Metro presented the case to Lubbock County Grand Jury. The grand jury returned an indictment against Mr. Little for the 1993 murder of Bobby Fields. As a result of this indictment, a warrant was issued for the arrest of Samuel Little for the charge of murder. The California Department of Corrections has been notified of the warrant and has placed a detainer on Mr. Little should he ever be released prior to his 3 life sentences, serving his 3 life sentences. This case is now in the hands of the Lubbock County Criminal District Attorney's Office for further action, and we consider this case now cleared. We have been in contact with Bobby Fields' family members and spoken with them about this warrant being issued. Regardless of how long it took to see their family members' murder solved, our condolences go out to them, and we hope this can help provide some measure of justice and closure for them. Special recognition must be given to Detectives Brandon Price and George Madrigal with the Metropolitan Special Crimes Unit. Their tireless efforts are very commendable on this case, and they are thanked for a job well done. Finally, the FBI and Texas Rangers believe that Mr. Little is responsible for several other murders throughout the country. They want to encourage anyone who believes their loved ones may have been the victim of Samuel Little to contact the FBI VICAP hotline at 1-800-CALL-FBI or visit the VICAP website at www.fbi.gov/wanted/VICAP. Thank you all for coming, and I'll try to answer some questions.
Are there currently any other cases you're looking into that Mr. Little might be tied to?
Not at this time. We don't have any other information to indicate any additional cases here.
Why was Little dismissed as a suspect when you guys were talking to the FBI and still considering him as a suspect?
Well, Mr. Little at the time had said that when he committed the murder, it was over at Wichita Falls. And so there was a number of, they had some missing folks that they had to go through and double check with what he was saying, with what they found. And they were able to discount those, and eventually we just started pulling it back to Lubbock.
So he was always on the radar.
He was on the radar. Yes, sir.
What ties he had to the Lubbock area?
He was familiar with Lubbock. He's been arrested here a couple times, but he's a traveler basically. And what we've learned is when he commits a murder or he does some transgression against the law, as soon as he bonds out, he's gone. He's moved on to another place.
Was the big breakthrough in this case the finding out that he was arrested 10 days earlier?
That helped, yes, because one of the questions we had was, well, how could he get out from Travis County and be here in Lubbock in such a short amount of time? And that, as soon as we got the dates verified, yeah, that pushed the investigation forward.
And once y'all verified that information, y'all then, in terms of the vehicle, is that correct?
Yes, yes. And he was subsequently interviewed. He discussed the vehicle, which happened to match what we had already had from back then.
So to be clear, he never had a permanent residence here because, as we know, he was back here in 2006, arrested for a petty theft
Yes.
charge.
He wasn't a long-term resident here. He just passed through.
I know this case is 26 years old, but is there any way that his DNA could be found or be tested?
We didn't, yeah, we did not have any collectible DNA that we could submit. That was reviewed, obviously. That's one of the go-tos that we go with, but there was not in this case.
On a case like this, it's 26 years old. You guys handle it the same level of respect as something that would have happened a day or two ago.
Yes. Yeah, just because we try to solve the case as quick as possible, but we realize there are some cases, for whatever reason, that's going to take some time. But they're always assigned to an investigator. And sometimes a fresh pair of eyes opens up another door. Technology improves. DNA back then was in its infancy compared to where it is now. So, yes, sir.
You mentioned that there was a detainer on Mr. Little. Do you know if there are any steps to maybe extradite him to Texas anytime soon?
Not that I'm aware of. I tend to think that while he's serving a sentence in California, there's probably not going to be a big push to bring him over here to Lubbock. But should he ever become available after serving his time in California, oh yeah, he'll be grabbed right over here.
How long, during that California interview, how long did that conversation last? Did he express any remorse or give any more details about what?
Yeah, so I'll probably defer that to Detective Brandon Price. I know y'all are going to be kind of interviewing him later. He can give you a little more specifics on that.
As you mentioned, Samuel Little is one of the most prolific serial killers in U.S. history. Did y'all take this case with a little more care and caution than you guys would normally with cold cases?
Oh, sure. Because y'all, I don't know if y'all remember Henry Lee Lucas. He claimed several murders as well, and then some of them turned out not to be true. So, Detective Price and Detective Madrigal were very careful when looking at this case and when talking with him to make sure he wasn't just like reading something off the headlines and then saying, yeah, that was me. They did a great job.
Starting when he confessed to all those murders last November, and we asked you guys if he was connected here, and you guys said no. Did you continue to follow up after that, or did it take the evidence that you presented to us to really reignite that look into it?
No, we always kind of kept an eye out on it, but as more information came in and just kind of that evidence just started coming together, and really, to me, what sealed it, and Detective Price can elaborate on that, is really the interview and what he had to say just on his own without being prodded. So.
Did y'all work close with Odessa, Houston, and Wichita Falls, where Little is connected to also in Texas?
I believe, yeah, we've worked with other agencies. I mean, we worked quite a bit with DPS and the Rangers were really the go-to for us, because they were looking at the whole state and looking at this case, and the Ranger involved in this one had a pretty good relationship with Mr. Little, and so we coordinated with him with a lot of that. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what the relationship with Samuel Little and Bobby Fields was. Did they know each other? Was this sort of random?
I really don't have any information as far as how long they knew each other. It could have just been for the night, but I don't think there was. Mr. Little's pattern, generally speaking, was meet him for the day or for a couple days, and then he was done. So.
Was there a particular individual that he targeted, per se, like a particular type of individual, the characteristics?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, typically it was somebody that was kind of on the fringe, and they were either involved in drug activity, prostitution, that kind of thing. And I'm not disparaging the victim in this at all. Nobody deserves to die. Okay.
If you could elaborate more on the family when you told them that this
Detective Price spoke directly with them. He could probably give you some more details with that, but I think in general, they were relieved, maybe surprised. She had some young children at the time, and they were subsequently adopted, and so it's one of those things. Anytime you find out something about your mom that you didn't know before, it can be very, very trying for them. But Detective Price can go into that a little bit more for you. Anything else? Well, look, I appreciate y'all very much. One of the reasons we wanted to do this today again was just to put out there, the 1-800 number to call FBI. If there's any family members out there, they're thinking possibly that this could be related to Sam Little, and if they got a missing loved one, as well the website. And again, I just appreciate y'all coming. So thank you.